Black women out here living our best life, and we gonna talk about it on the Cute Shoes channel. What's up, y'all? You just tuned in to the Cute Shoes channel, your virtual hangout spot on the chill side of the internet. Your host is Dr. Akua Rose Feathers, and she is going to guide you through the legacy-making brilliance, vulnerability, and awesomeness of Black women. Oh, this is not just a web channel. This is a spotlight, a stage and sanctuary for the rich mosaic of experiences, dreams, and triumphs of Black women. So, kick off your shoes, grab your favorite drink, and chill with us as we dive into some real talk. Let me tell you who's on the show today. On the show today is Monique Pearson, a multifaceted woman, an entrepreneur, philanthropist, author, as well as speaker. She is passionate about assisting women with their travel goals via her company, Soaring W Enterprises. Her charity organization, Professionista, is also near and dear to her heart. Her mission is to assist as many women as possible to accomplish their travel goals. Let's get to that conversation.
Hey, Dr. Tua, how are you? Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, I'm doing good. How are you?
I am fabulous. Thank you so much.
Yes, I'm excited to talk with you. And I know that we have a topic that we talked about, we discussed we're going to dialogue about today. But I'm just curious, why travel? Like, why was that something that stood out for you? Like, you know what, I want to help people accomplish their traveling goals.
Well, I think I was one of the fortunate people to know at a young age, since the age of 10, that I wanted to travel and see the world. That was there. I never moved anywhere. I lived in the same city, but I just knew that there was more to the world, and I wanted to see it. So the way that I got started was joining the military straight out of high school and being opened up and experiencing it. That was it. It was everything I thought it would be as a child. And then, of course, the pandemic is what sparked it for me. That I want to operate in my passion and gifts fully, and how can I use them? And what came to me was to help other people, and particularly women, to be able to get out and see the world. So that is how it all came to be.
I love it. So yeah, can you dive into that a little bit? Describe that work. Describe the work that you do. We'll do, if you want to, that word is a tongue twister. The philanthropic endeavors. You see how hard I worked on your bio, because I didn't trip over when I read. Okay, and now my tongue is like, I got you through the bio, sis. The rest is on you. So we can talk about your philanthropic efforts later, or you can mesh them together. But I just want to know, like, describe the work that you do.
Okay, so I am currently still working full time and doing my business on my after work duty hours. So twofold. My day job is I work for Department of Defense, and my background is ammunition, weapons, and missiles. I was an ammunition specialist in the military. So I was able to take all of that knowledge that I learned in that 8.5 years that I served and translate it over initially first to government contracting. I worked in the Middle East, I worked in Iraq, I worked in Kuwait for several years. And then I came on board with Department of Defense. And that's what I'm currently doing now. I survey contractors who make missiles, ammunition, weapons on behalf of the government in order to provide to our armed services. So I make sure that we have what we need, where we have stockpiles, especially now with all of the efforts that we have going on, keeping our finger on the pulse so that we can keep Congress and the lawmakers abreast of where we need to give investments, where resources are needed. So that is currently my day job.
Wow. Well, listen, thank you for everything that you've done and for what you're doing. So when you call, that's just your day job. So what is I got some questions about the day job and the passion project, I think I heard you call it. So describe that work. What is the work that you do there?
So Swole, as I affectionately call it, Soaring Without
Awesome.
Limits Enterprises, that is my baby, that is my passion, and that is my travel agency, independently owned travel agency. So I offer, of course, my niche is international travel. Majority of my clients that I work with, of course, are women. I cater to the professional women, 35 plus, because typically at that point, you are doing all the things, wearing all the hats. You're the wife, you're the mother, you're the auntie, you're the boss, you're the everything. And most times, prioritization for your self-care is at the bottom of your list. So I am using travel as a means to promote your self-care and to be able to expand outside of your window and your purview. I work with a lot of women who've never been on a plane, who don't have a passport. So
Wow.
I am serving as your guide, holding your hand to get you through that process to open up the world to you and show you how to do it safely and with confidence.
So is it a concierge service as well, or are you like the traditional, and I'm saying traditional in heavy air quotes, but like the traditional travel agent where you just help folks navigate through all of the planning and the reserving and the, getting all of the different documentations and stuff like that?
Well, I see it as more than, I wouldn't call myself traditional, because one thing that I do is pretty much touch base with each client, like as we're doing now, a Zoom. I want to understand who you are. I want to understand
Nice.
what your fears are. I want to understand what those limitations are and why you have it, so that it's deeper than that. Because some of them may need some, like I think I'm an unofficial coach, so to speak,
Yeah.
as to how to help you get overcome those fears, those limitations, and to empower you. And it doesn't stop there as far as me doing the planning and all the booking. I also stay in touch with those while they're there, if you need assistance, if you need help, and then circling back on the back end to make sure that your experience is everything. So we are a 360 service here. We don't just book for you and send you on your way.
I love every piece of that. Why do you think that personalized service is so important? Because it
Because you
sounds
can get anything off of Expedia, Orbitz, and book your own trip and save your money. But that personalization, like if we go anywhere else, that stands out is that customer service, to know that that person is genuinely listening to you,
yeah.
genuinely making sure that they're meeting your needs. And then, God forbid, if something were to occur, if there was an issue, you have somebody who has knowledge, expertise, and experience on their side to be able to guide you through that versus you handling it on your own.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of when I asked the question, because I was imagining you talked about helping people who didn't even have a passport, which means you haven't gone, outside of the United States
Mm-hmm.
and perhaps haven't even traveled at all. And so I didn't want to assume, but that's what I was thinking. Like having someone like you will help me with all that anxiety that comes from that and kind of like that nervousness
Yes,
that shows up in all of that. And international travel is a whole different beast from just
right.
domestic travel. So um, I can see how that helps someone like
Yes.
navigate through that space.
And on top of that, I believe in education. So the first thing that I kicked off the business with is a 5-week self-paced course. I believe I can fly. So I'm showing you from A to B what you have to do
Get
to be able
out.
to travel successfully, like all the
Yes.
documentation, the paperwork, how do you vet where you stay, how to pick flights, how far out, like all of my knowledge that I have garnered in these 25 plus years. I
Love it.
put a bulk load of that in that 5-week self-paced course. So you're not just getting that, you're also having other tools. And I have also my first offering, which is Take That Trip Girl, the ultimate bucket list journal, that's available now as well, to be able to get you like mindset work that I was talking about, as far as painting the vision, painting the course of where you would like to go and how to get you there. Because I really want to start with the young girls,
Love it.
far as empowering them. So that journal is really geared towards them to catch you early in the age to get you started with that.
I love that. And I hear it as this is something that I'm noticing in the people that I've spoken with through this web series. When you talk, there's such a passion that comes through in what you're saying. Like it's not just
robotic. It's not just you giving me like the 1, the 2, the 3, the 4. Like you're going a lot deeper, talking about that personal service and that personal attention. I heard you refer to it as a passion project. Do you think that that stems from which part of yourself? I'm not going to say it that way. I'm going to say it this way. Which part of yourself do you think that stems from, that passion to do this for other people? Might it have been the childhood thing that you were talking about, like knowing that there was more? Might it have been the travel that you did when you were in the service, doing all of these different, moving from, going on the planes and doing all of this stuff? Like, where do you think that passion stems from within you?
I would say it really came for me, being as well traveled as I am. From 2016 to 2019, I lived in Milan, Italy for those 3 years. So prior to that, I did all of this travel, but for the most part, I was always with someone. That was the first time that I embarked upon solo travel, and that showed me how much more I was capable of being a well-versed travel. Like, it expanded me being able to speak to strangers. My confidence level grew, my exposure. So that is where the passion came. I was like, if I can still learn with all this experience and still see other sides of growth for me, I want to be able to show other women that they can do it too. So it really came from that, far as me opening up the door to solo travel and how that opened up and expanded me as a person.
Yes.
That I wanted to be able to show other women that it is deeper than travel, because I know that it opens such doors of gratitude. Like, a lot of us don't know how well we have it here in the States unless you go to an underprivileged country or someone who doesn't. So it just opens up so many different doors, and I wanted to be the conduit to be able to show other women that is so much more than travel.
I love that. And it's funny because when you were describing it, I was thinking, gosh, it's so much more than just travel. It's not, to answer my question from earlier, it is not just the traditional or typical, travel agency. It's so much more than just travel. And the other thing that resonated with me was how an experience that you have can lead to you being able to open that door for other people on a much smaller scale. I was a part of an organization when I was younger, and I got to see the world in different communities, different neighborhoods, different areas because of all of the moving around the cabin that we did, right? We didn't move, I'm talking like I was in choirs, and I was in this thing called this media program. And so we got exposure, and that helped me to see the world outside of the little window of my neighborhood.
Right.
The 25 steps to the corner store and the 25, And so on a much smaller scale, I can relate to what you're talking about being in a different place and how that opens our eyes to different things. So your approach to doing all of this work, I would imagine, it sounds like your day job, as you called it, is a pretty big undertaking. It doesn't sound like it's something that's like, we just go to work and just, push a couple of buttons and then that's it. Like,
no.
You like,
well, I mean, I travel for that job as well. So but I've been in that field since I was 18 years old. So it has been over 20 something years. So I know that, but my heart isn't there, but my check is there.
Listen.
Until I build my baby up to the point that I can leave my day job. This is definitely the goal.
So
I believe,
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, I said I definitely want to, if anything that the pandemic taught me is that not operating in my passion and my gifts is no longer acceptable for me. So I have a choice to be able to change that. So that's what I'm actively working on right now.
I love that. Not operating in my gift. That right there, that's a mistake. Because so much happened in the pandemic where I think a lot of people had a wake-up call. There was an awakening that happened for a lot of people. And I hate that it had to happen that way.
Sometimes that's what you got to get extreme shape for you to be able to wake up. So sometimes that's what it takes, unfortunately.
Yeah. What would you say, like the drive and the push to continue doing this work, your swole and also the philanthropic stuff, we'll talk about that in a minute. But the drive to do that as well as this really big job. So you got two big things, and we're only talking about two facets of your working. Where do you think you got the drive and the ambition to do those things? Because I imagine you do them all at 100%.
Yeah, I think one, two, work ethic came at a young age. I've been working since 13 years old. So I just remember my mom coming home, here, summer application. So every year since 13, I've been working. But even before I could work, I used to just go around, collect bottles, shovel snow. Like, I always wanted to have my own money. So the work ethic has always been there because I wanted the independence that came with having your own. So yeah, that, I think that's just a natural thing that was just always there since childhood. The desire to work, because I knew that created avenues to get things that I wanted.
Yeah. Did you have examples of that similar type of work ethic where when you were coming up, like, oh, I see how y'all doing it, I want to do it like that too? Or was it literally just something that came up out of you?
I did not have any depictions of entrepreneurs. I will say that. I wish that I did, because I think that I would have entered into this realm way earlier than now if I had, because I can honestly say 10 years ago, when I was broached with the subject about starting my own business, I was totally against it. Totally against it, because I was like, no, I need the security of my paycheck. That's too risky. That's too unknown. So I always saw my dad go to work every day. Yeah, my mom came into the workforce as we got older. But yeah, I pretty much saw everybody working, and majority of the women that I saw working were in the health and nursing fields in my family.
Okay. Was there anything about the way they did their work that influenced or encouraged you, even if it was like, I'm never going to do what they doing, or, you know what I mean? Like, was there anything about the way
I just think that it was a work, like working doubles, doing this, whatever. I just always like, I like to work hard, but I didn't want to work that hard.
Yeah.
And I worked hard like that and had two jobs because I needed to, not because I wanted to. And for me, I never wanted to chase money. So I wanted to figure out a way that I can make more money, but not have necessarily work harder to get it.
Yeah.
So just putting myself in positions that were able to afford me a better lifestyle, because I worked two jobs several times and I was like, I do not like how this feels. Two jobs are for two people. And I just knew that there was more to life than working your life away just to have artifacts or just to have material things. So that was one thing I learned, that I really didn't want that lifestyle that I saw a lot of my family doing, was like excessively working, in my opinion.
Yeah. So how did you resolve that? You mentioned that 10 years ago, you had an opportunity to break into an entrepreneurial role, and there was just like, nope, I need that pay. I want that paycheck, that kind of reliability of that. How did you resolve that feeling, that thought? Because I know that's not a small thing.
It probably took me about 3 years later. I got an MLM. That was my first venture into it, opportunity. And I think they sold me on, I was bought in by pretty much, I think I still wasn't really on board when I said yes. I was like, they gave I forgot, a guarantee. So much, many days you can get out and get your money back if it wasn't successful. So that is what initially was my reason, because I still felt I had a safety net. And then plus you get a coach to be able to show you. So that made me feel a little bit more secure that I didn't have to start from ground zero. So being able to have that baby step as my first gateway into entrepreneurship, I think set the platform for me until I saw the other side of the MLM world that I didn't care for and wanted to, of course, do my own thing.
Yeah. What, if you're okay talking about it, what is that other side?
Well, one, that you have to build teams, you have to recruit people, and then of course, a lot of times your income is dependent upon these people staying in the business, these people doing so many sales. I didn't like that my success had to be built upon other people's shoulders.
Yeah, I get that. I get that. Yeah, thank you for answering that. I know, I don't want to go too far into somebody's
Yeah, I'm not
story,
saying any names. I don't want them coming for me. So
absolutely. And I will not be asking. So how do you get to a place then? So you've got this journey that I'm kind of envisioning. You got this journey of, kind of reluctant entrepreneurism. Then that word just messed all up. Reluctance to be an entrepreneur. You get a taste of it, you foot in the water, get into that. And then you get into the space where Professionista is born. Like, how did we get to that, the charity organization? How did you get to that place?
they started simultaneously. The same strike that I got far as, well, actually, no. The idea for Professionista came first. That was when I came back to the States from living abroad in Italy. I've always been taught that too much is given, much is required. And I feel as if I have been blessed too much to not be able to be a blessing to someone else. So in the past, I used to volunteer with several organizations. One was Dress for Success, and that was being able to help disfortunate women, ones who were victims of domestic violence or sex trafficking, things of that nature, who were just getting back on their feet. And this organization provided professional clothing, attire, shoes, you name it. So I was one of the personal shoppers. And again, that was still being able to pour into a woman, not just helping her pick clothes, but to pour into her mental state, pour into her spirit. That I just know that just lights me up to be able to have that facet. So when I came back to the States and came here to Pennsylvania, Philadelphia, I was looking for that organization so I can volunteer and continue to serve in that capacity. And they didn't have one here in the local area where I am. So God put it on my spirit to, like, you started. And I was like, what? How am I supposed to?
That wasn't for me. That was somebody else's message.
I was like, God, it's only me. I don't even know anybody out here. So he's like, start where you can. So I just went around to my contacts, my networks, and then the pandemic struck. So for 2 years, I just collected clothes, collected shoes, to the point that I didn't have anywhere else to put it. And then I was like, okay, now I need to find somebody to be able to get this to get it to the women that can use it. So it took me a year and a half probably to make that proper contact. So now I have a partnership with an organization here called Fast Connections, which is a part of social services here in Philadelphia, who started a clothing closet, and I was able to donate all of that clothing, and I still continue to work with them to this day to provide clothing. Now we've expanded it to men as well, where initially it was just women.
That's fine. Nice. I love to see it. I love to see it. And so do you think that the work ethic that you have in your day job and in Swole, like, do you think that also pours through in Professionista, or do you think that's is there any, like, I know I go harder because of the purpose and because of the goal? Do you know what I mean?
I think that one is not just dependent upon me. A lot of that is relying upon my network. And just being able to spread the word and be able to share the efforts. And most people are always going to be on board to be able to help someone if they can, if it's not really costing them anything. So that one, I don't really see it as being a hard or work service to something of that nature to do, to be honest with you. I just see that as a labor of love. I don't even see that as work.
Oh, I love that. I love that. And people, what is that? I can't, something like, if you do what you love, you'll never work
a day in your life.
There it is. Okay, so it's kind of ringing that for me when I heard you say that. So tell me, you referenced it before, but tell me about Take That Trip Girl. I know that you have 2 books. Take That Trip Girl is a journal.
So Take That Trip Girl, the ultimate bucket list journal. So the first portion of it is we're asking you thought-provoking questions that I typically, when I'm sitting with my clients, like getting that understanding of where you are so I can help you to get to where you want to go. Basically, what are your fears? What are your limitations? What's stopping you from living the life that you want to live? Where would you want to be if you had a choice? So we're starting there to get that wheel spinning in your head, as far as to where you stand, your thought process, to pretty much clear the air and get it out there as to where you want to go. Then we're also offering far as visionary work. In my course, I believe I can fly. I'm pretty much starting like when you're doing that visionary work, which I believe is setting your subconscious up to be able to receive where you want to go. Far as spending that first 5 to 10 minutes, how does it look? How does it feel? What does that experience look like to be that woman you want to be and to go where you want to go? So we're doing some of that work. And then we're also showing you like some of the top 10 destinations in the world and giving you small tidbits and facts and helping you with that visionary work by painting the picture and giving you images of this could be you. You could be here. Yes. Then we're setting you up with a 3-year calendar plan so that you can go ahead and plan where is it that you want to go and how you're going to get there and keep that accountability going. So that is just like a quick overview of what that encompasses.
I love that. And shameless plug, where can we get that journal? Where can we get that one? We're going to talk about the other one next, but where can we get that one?
You can get it on my website at www.soaringwolimits.com, and it's also available on Amazon, but preferably the website so Amazon don't get some of the points.
Listen, let's get all the money going directly to Monique if we can help that, please. And then so you have another book, and it's also a journal, Joy 365.
Yep, Joy 65, which is the restoration to joy. So on this project is an anthology project. Shout out to Dr. Vanessa Blackwell, who is the visionary for this project. So this one is currently in pre-sales. We are launching in fall of this year, and it is just as it says. There is 365 different authors, a different author for each day, and we're sharing prayers, we're sharing poems, we're sharing stories of inspiration to be able to shine light and give joy and uplift you to start off your day. So that's what that one is.
I love that. I love how you take and it's almost, what is that word? It's almost, I wouldn't draw the dots between it. You have this person who's this like weapons expert and all of these like big, and then you have this philanthropic heart. I don't want to say side because I'm trying to stop acting like we cutting people up. Like all of this is one person, right?
Yes.
And then you have someone who has a passion for travel, and then you help other people accomplish that. Like I love every piece of that. And it's not just here is the robotic thing that we're doing, but everything that you've described that you do delves into the person. It sounds like you help them to find that within themselves and pull it out so that they can, accomplish whatever it is, traveling, showing up in the way that they are proud to show up. What are the examples that you lean on, or even if it's not an example, what do you lean on to continue to help you continue in all of this work? Because none of these things sound like small endeavors.
I definitely say I believe that the people that you are connected to. So I've been fortunate since I've started on all these endeavors to be able to connect with other women who are doing the same thing, whether they are still working and doing entrepreneurship full time, because I can speak to them, I can glean from their experience, their wisdom, their knowledge, and just being able to have that person who can identify what I'm feeling is priceless. So that is what motivates me, having my accountability partner turned friend to be able to share this journey with. And then of course, I'm a part of another women's group organization where it's nothing but entrepreneurs. We're all in a circle. So that is what continues to drive me and continues to keep me going and lift me up on those days that I may feel overwhelmed, is to be able to have those ladies to tap into.
Yep, that was going to be the question. So you already answered that. My follow-up question was going to be to ask you, how do you think that connection in that community, lends to your well-being and your ability to keep going? Because that's one thing I know that is missing from the world of not missing, say that differently. There's it's if I work in a workplace, and I have something that's like frustrating or overwhelming, I can walk down the hall to my work buddy and be like, girl, did you see, did you hear? Why was he, I could do that. But when you're an
Right.
entrepreneur, it's you just in this, your own little world. So
That's what I said. A lot of people say it's lonely. I don't feel so. I was like, man, I found some new business sisters. So being able to have some kind, because I was like, those who aren't in it, if you have family members, they're not gonna understand, or yeah, so it's not like I can't go to you for certain things. So yeah, just being able to have them. And then another thing I think I've tapped into and would recommend that people do is all of these free resources that we have, like score.org, which offers free mentorship in your respective lanes. I've tapped into that. Being a veteran, they have ACP for those who may be interested. They'll assign you a free veteran. And then now I just recently got accepted into the Milestone Circle, which is featured by NASDAQ Entrepreneur Center. Yeah. That is explicitly for women entrepreneurs. You have to apply, of course, to get in, but there's another free resources. I like free and free likes me. So I'm always looking for some way to preserve my coins, but still continue to help me to continue to grow.
I love that. I super love that. So in a minute, I'm going to ask you if you have any final words for, in the last interview I did, I struggled to create like an avatar. Usually when I ask folks for words of wisdom, I create like an avatar. So you're speaking directly to a particular type of person. And because of the multifaceted nature of the things that you do, I'm having a hard time creating an avatar. So I might be asking for general overall words of wisdom, just as a heads up. But before we do that, I'd love if you could share, how can people find, the Joy 365 Restoration of Joy Journal? How can people how can people get connected with you for your other book, Take That Trip, Girl? How can we connect with you?
Okay. Well, first, connecting with me, I'm on all the platforms. So for Facebook, I have Soaring Without Limits Enterprises, my business page, Monique Pearson, my personal page. Instagram, I'm under Swole Enterprise. LinkedIn, I'm under Monique Pearson. And TikTok, I'm under Monique Pearson. You can also reach me for travel services, or Take That Trip, Girl, the Ultimate Bucket List Journal, under www.soaringwolimits.com. And for those interested in Joy 365, you can get that at www.moniquespearson.com. And for those who are looking for speakers to be able to reach your art, I'm also doing public speaking, and that is IamMoniquePearson.com for all of your speaking needs.
Love it. Love it. Definitely will have all of that listed in the comments and the sections when the episode airs. So what words of wisdom would you share with a woman who's struggling to see past her current situation and circumstances? She dreams of travel. She dreams of stepping outside of that box. You said something before about getting people out of the boxes. That was so powerful to me. How can I take that first step? What would you say to me to help me here be able to take that first step to just do it and just go?
I would say I'm gonna take you back to childhood, where you started first. You had to crawl before you can walk, before you can run. And you always had someone there to be able to guide you during those stages so that you can continue to grow and develop. It will be the same thing for you trying to do something that you've never done. The same way a teacher teaches us how to read and how to write. Most of the accomplishments that we had a guide, we had someone in place to be able to show us. And by them taking those steps first, we were able to walk in their footprints. So you may not be able to do it by thinking in yourself and staying by yourself, but having someone who is able to pour into you and see more in you than where you can see in yourself at this time is possible. It's just a matter of connecting with someone who can help you to see you before you can see yourself.